These are the three things that I wish I knew about healing from a breakup. The first is that healing is not linear. I think a lot of us get caught up in the thought process of things happen from one starting point and they go straight to the end and that's it. When it comes especially to healing from anything, but for sure a breakup, it is never going to be that way. I can promise you with everything in my body and soul that that will never happen to any person on this planet, because you have to understand that there is so many complex emotions that you are going to go through. And I think for myself, I used to get so frustrated because I would think, I'd go online, I'd watch different YouTubers or coaches, whatever, say like, okay, if you do these things by this time frame, you'll feel this way. And then if you go to the next and just kind of consecutively do this, I should be, moved on or healed. And I would go through that process just to be disappointed because one, I didn't feel the way that it was, and two, I was going backwards, I felt, and it was making things worse. And what I realized when I finally was able to heal and move on was that it is going to naturally be all over the place because you are processing different emotions. And on top of that, you are dealing with other potential triggers that may cause you to feel a certain way. And you're kind of having to put out these fires in different areas that may cause you to take a couple steps back. And that is perfectly okay. This is all a part of the process of your mind and body doing what is necessary for you to heal. And I think a lot of times too is that we get so caught up in looking at other people and what they did and try to copy and paste that in our own life, and it doesn't work. And the problem is that you are never going to be able to do this. Yes, it may give you some different tips and ideas, and that's great to have, but you have to allow yourself to explore this and figure out what it is that you need to go through, because nobody's gone through the relationship like you have. Every single relationship, just like every single person on this earth, is completely different. You will never have the same exact relationship that another person has, or even one for yourself. Every relationship that you go in with yourself is going to be completely different. And I think this was something that I didn't realize when I was actually trying to heal from the breakup, that caused me to delay my healing process, because I would get so frustrated and beat myself up because I was like, why am I actually not making progress to moving on? I'm doing everything that I'm being told, but yet I'm feeling worse sometimes. And that would cause me to kind of spiral and just be more in a bad mental state and just make things way worse. And what I realized now looking back on it, and what actually helped me to heal and move on, was when I started to realize like, oh, this is actually a normal part. And by me sitting here and feeling bad about it or frustrated, I'm not allowing myself to let these emotions out and to express it and to reframe those thoughts so that I can begin to heal and actually move on. The best thing that you can do here is have patience with yourself and understand that you are in a loving relationship with someone. Love is one of the most powerful and great emotions that a human will ever experience. So, of course, your body and mind is going to react that way. It's an automatic thing that's going to happen. But the most important thing that you have to do in this moment is be patient with yourself. Have empathy with yourself and know that this is something that is normal and it will pass and get easier and easier as you're able to work through this. But you cannot beat yourself up here, because it is going to make things worse and it's going to cause you to go into this spiral and delay your healing process. Number two is that closure does not come from your ex. I think a lot of us sit there and think that we need to gain closure by the ex. Like there's something that the ex needs to give us for us to feel like we are good and we can now move on. But the thing that you have to realize is that that is an illusion. Even if you had the opportunity to sit down with your ex and talk about things, it is not going to give you that sense of closure. If anything, it's going to make you feel probably worse, because you're sitting across from someone that you love, knowing that this very well could be the last time that you talk to them, and you're saying goodbye to them. And this makes it a lot worse for you because, you're expecting to walk away from this feeling good, feeling better, feeling like, you got stuff off your chest, which that could essentially happen. I'm not saying that this doesn't happen. Some people are able to kind of have, a really good conversation with them, and it does set them up, to be able to move on in a better way. But chances are typically what you see is that it doesn't have a positive effect. Usually either you feel worse because you're saying goodbye to this person and you miss them so much, or you guys get into another argument because you're not ready to talk about things from an objective view and why they didn't work out, and it just makes things worse. So what you have to understand, and what I had to understand, is that closure comes from myself. Closure comes with you looking at the relationship for what it was and seeing the good and the bad where you both went wrong, and just understanding that it was probably a good thing for you guys moving on. The third thing is that no contact is a must. I was so horrible when it came to trying to go no contact with my ex. I thought that if I had some type of contact with them and reached out to them or was able to see them on social media, like, they would be in my life still. Like, we would be able to work things out because I'm on their mind, and I'll be able to feel better because I'll be able to see what they're doing here and there to try to make myself feel like they haven't moved on. And it did the complete opposite. One, I made things way worse if I had any potential of getting back with her, because I was just essentially not respecting her wish, which was to not talk to each other right now because we were trying to figure things out and see how we actually were feeling. And two, it just comes off as obsessive, and it almost comes off as needy, and it is a turn off to that person. No contact is a win-win no matter what, because one, either it gives that person enough space and time to realize that they're going to lose someone that they want to have in their life and they come back, or two, you're away from the relationship and the person so much that you begin to actually heal and move on from them. And this is such a huge thing that I wish I took more seriously. And of course, I understand that I was trying to work through this the best that I could, and I really thought that no contact was the worst thing to do. But now, being outside of it, I could see how it would have been so much more beneficial. I wouldn't have delayed so much of my healing journey, because that was another thing too that would happen, where I would see a picture of her or her from her family, and it would destroy me because I would see something that would bother me or make me start to question, like, oh, is she with somebody else? Like, what is going on? And these are all natural things that are going to happen when you're wanting someone back in your life. And the moment that I ended up going no contact and deciding to say, okay, it's time to step from this and for me to begin to focus on myself, that's what began to help me to actually heal and move on. That's what helped me to look at things for what they were and to see the good, the bad, the in between, whatever it was, and to just realize, like, it is normal for people to be in love and to essentially fall out of it. Everyone has a right to love the person that they want to love and to have a relationship the way that they want. And I was able to start to see, like, yeah, it sucked that happened, but she has the right to go find somebody else who's going to make her happy, and I do as well. And this is such a huge thing that no contact does for you, because again, it just allows you to be away from the situation so that you can assess things and figure out what you need to do to heal and move on from this. I hope that you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.